the understanding in philosophy and generally until now has been that we have different interpretations, different concepts, different cultures, different ways of dealing with people, different ways of understanding reality. And these concepts, I call them, but I don't mean only thoughts. Concepts, entities, habits, cultural ways, understandings, all that stuff. I claim that that stuff is not in direct contact with reality. And by reality, I don't care what you mean, because the point is that reality to me is not something that you can define. Reality is not this and not that and not the other thing. This and that and the other thing, well, that's what people think or say. But reality is beyond what I understand. And beyond, I think, beyond what you understand. Because understand already means some concept, some notion, some culture, some form, some entity, some general shape, something. Now, those concepts are very important. We can't live without them. But I want to be saying for myself, whatever it is beyond that. And that, most of all, includes what a person is. This I, who goes to welcome the feelings and the guests, this I has no content. This I is not this kind of person or that kind of person. This I is not smart or stupid. This I is not professional or unprofessional. This I is not white or black. This I is not. This I is you, your I. And if you look, if you know even a little focusing, you discover that, oh, that's I. I is really what I thought I am, and it isn't really what I call myself, and it isn't really what I'm proud of, and it isn't really what I hate in myself. Those things are all guests. And the I is the I who has them all and isn't any of them. And the same is true, of course, with the other person. That's why I'm suspicious about this field, because it turns out that the other person is that person in there. And they're not here to fit me and do my life with me. They're their own life. And I may have a need for somebody who fits me exactly, and wouldn't it be wonderful if we were together, the same person? That's not real. Each person is their own channel. Each person is their own mystery. Each person is their own I. And now that I'm used to this, I find it, I said that earlier, I find it much more refreshing to discover, oh, you're here, and I thought you were there. And I'm in touch with somebody. If I think the person is what I feel they are, I'm alone. This has been a role of women in the stereotype in America often, so when I have a couple sometimes, he tells me that, oh, they feel the same way about things. And I look over at her and she's smiling. Yeah, I don't think that, you know. Okay. But now, the point that I'm making is that in philosophy now, I have whatever it is. And see, whatever it is, whatever reality is, whatever I am, whatever the other person is, you name it, whatever it really is beyond the concepts.
What concepts?
Any. So what I mean by concepts is my concepts, of course, but also the other ones. So when you read the thinkers, they're all saying that their concept is somehow directly in touch with whatever it is. And I'm here to say it's not. And that makes a big shift in how we think. Now, between the concepts, of course, they come from somewhere. Some of them they teach us. But some concepts can come from this murky edge, this place where we are in touch. In touch might... You see, no word actually works right. And notice that I say, I want to start a sentence, and in the middle I break it off. The sentence was going to be, we are in touch with the real other person. We are in touch with the real reality. We are in touch with the universe, but not through the notions that we have, not through the concepts, not through the shapes, not through the forms, not through the culture, this other way, this murky place. Well, what is this murky place? It's the body, of course. Now, they will tell you that the body is just a machine, but you're sitting there and you're not just a machine. And that's obvious. How to say that? Well, I don't know. You're also a machine. Well, sure. But you're not just a machine. So the point that I want to make, which I will then give illustrations to, is the philosophical point that, first I'll say it in the negative, that the concepts, the shapes, the entities, the things are not directly the reality or the experience of the person or you or whatever it is you're studying. This is true with anything. Like people study history. Well, they have this interpretation, and 20 years later they deny it all and have the opposite interpretation. Then they have a third way of looking at, well, what really did happen? What really did happen is never going to be somebody's interpretation, somebody's shape. But does that mean nothing happened? No. We're even the products of what happened. If we go in ourselves, we find, well, that's another story. So I'm talking about this thing negatively. I'm saying we're not in touch with it, but we are in touch with the reality. But in touch, you see, already makes one person here and the reality there, and then you walk over and touch it. Well, that doesn't work. You see what I mean? But every other way I'm going to say it also won't work. Okay? So I say, well, we are already the reality. Well, yeah, but we're all of it, right? We're just this little end of this big thing. Well, are we an end of a big thing? I'm making a thing in space. Is reality something that occupies space? Well, no, probably not. No way that I'm ever going to say is going to get beyond this fact that I already am this. Now, something like this, in the last, especially the last 30 or 40 years, in philosophy, the negative of this is sort of known now, but not really. They say we have all these different interpretations, and under the interpretations is nothing. So they call me nothing. I'm saying, well, there's a lot wrong with me, but nothing isn't exactly right either. And focusing brings exactly this, and all I need to do is make you conscious of it some way. Focusing lets you realize you are. Oh, but this word are, and is, and being, and oh my God, what a history that has, and it's so confusing. I don't mean that you are. I mean, See what And that's also what I mean about questions. If you have a question and you're stuck, go and see why the question is important to you. Then you won't be stuck. That already knows more than you can phrase as a question. And we have TAE out of there. From there you can make fresh sentences and fresh concepts. Because you don't just know something, and then I don't have a word. What do I want? You existed, you are it, you breathe it, you inhale it, you smell it, you piss it out in the bathroom. Almost anything will work once you know what I mean. And nothing works if you don't know what I mean.